more virtually if they wanted to.
Could the city put it on the homepage for like Historic Preservation Month? Is that this month?
May.
It's May. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the protocol is for putting stuff on our homepage. I honestly have no idea. I've never asked that question. Our homepage, they may be fine with it if it were like, because they've just got like popular services and information, and then there's, I don't know, they have like news on our homepage, and then they've got projects. So I could ask to see what our options might be. We have a virtual engagement hub, so maybe there's a way to connect information there. So
what were you thinking for a virtual tour? I derailed it by bringing up local landmarks, which is pretty much there. Maybe could be highlighted more, but what were you thinking for a virtual tour, Alex?
I was thinking more of like districts, because the landmarks are one piece of it, but you've got so many National Register districts and local districts that maybe that would be of interest to people, versus just individual landmarks, or maybe people are interested in both. I think probably, if I had to guess, there would be more people that have interest in like neighborhood-wide history than site-specific history. So I don't know. Again, just spitballing. I'm just throwing out ideas of ways we could kind of broaden our reach, but I think you guys have given some good food for thought. So just to go back to what you were saying, Sue, about the evergreen idea, you threw out the word like magnet. Will, like, do you mean like a physical something that like
inside the newsletter you would a little piece of, it's called booger glue, which I like to bring up that word, and everybody knows what you're talking about. That sticks into the printed piece that just comes out tipped in, and then so it would be a fridge size magnet, just like the solid waste the trash people send us for every year.
Okay, so you really meant it literally like a magnet, or like a sticker thing, or a badge or something.
Yeah.
Do you want a badge that you could sew under your backpack? You could iron it on like a Girl Scout badge?
When we're out scouting. A merit badge.
We could do that. Would be fun if we could do like some little like a scavenger hunt type thing where you had like the junior ranger kind of thing, where you went to all the different, I don't know, historic places. Now I'm making it way more complicated than we have time to do, but
little Asheville passport.
It worked though, and then you can like have them into like the Chamber of Commerce. Maybe they would give out the patch or something, or downtown at the courthouse, and they get the patch there after they do it, the scavenger hunt.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe the chamber is the good location since it's right at the head of Montford. If we kind of take people through Montford last on the journey or something like that.
And there's all that history, and all the Stumptown is up right now at Buncombe County Special Collections. It'd be nice, have so it's like an urban trail, but it's the historic urban trail.
Right. Did any of you guys go to the Trolls exhibit at the Arboretum? That was really cute. That they had this little map to get to all the different trolls, and it was like sort of oriented towards kids, but adults liked it too. It was great.
I tried, but I was one of the unfortunate souls stuck in the traffic that made the news this weekend. So yeah. Beautiful sunny Valentine's Day, not the day to go see the trolls, so we had to bail on that.
I barely made it, like just last weekend. So
yeah,
I hear you.
I was bummed, and they're leaving today. So you didn't by chance save your map, did you? I'd heard that the map was cute, but I haven't seen one.
I think I did. I can look and bring it in next time.
Yeah, or if you can just take a picture of it and send. Is it like a fold out map, or is it?
Yeah, it does. It's like a little, it's very small, and then it just like opens out. Yeah, it's really cute.
Yeah, if you Google the troll map Asheville, I think it's what you're talking. There's a image
There's
of it.
one online. Okay.
You need to go out.
Okay. Okay, well, awesome. I think you guys have given me some really good food for thought, and I'm meeting with SHPO at 1 today, so I'll bounce some of this off of them and see what their thoughts are. And hopefully we can get this show on the road and get this money spent. I don't think it's ever been such a challenge to spend $10,000 as it has for us to get rid of this money. So the last thing on our agenda is work plan goals for the upcoming year. I have started thinking on this, but I haven't really landed anywhere. I think it's because we have so much on our plate right now with the recovery work, et cetera. But I do want to perhaps later in the spring, maybe we can convene with PSABC as a group to talk through their programmatic goals for the next 5 years, and maybe we can figure out where we align to join forces. Sometimes we have differing things that we're working on, but I think post-Helene, I think one of the takeaways for me at least has been that when we support each other, we typically can get more stuff done. We both have the goal of updating the countywide survey, which I think will be our big still our biggest goal on the horizon. How we break that out we haven't really figured that out yet. I think it will be phased because it's such a giant scope of work. But I put this here just as a placeholder. We don't have to get in the weeds on it today unless anybody has ideas that they want to share or thoughts about the programmatic work that they want to share. But just as a placeholder, since now we're kind of far enough along in the Montford stuff, I think we can kind of make space in our regular agendas to start hammering out some of our programmatic goals again post-Helene, because we haven't normally we have this kind of built into our annual report, but we haven't done an annual report since 2024 because of the storm. And so we just now need to kind of level set and figure out where we want to go from here outside of recovery related work.
Is the Biltmore Village standards, is that their responsibility to update those, or is that something, or is it necessary? I think it is, because they're terrible to read. And so maybe you have issues with Albemarle Park's readability, and I don't know if that's what you want to spend all the time on, but without being asked to.
No, I think those are both useful goals to put on our work plan for sure. I mean, the Biltmore Village standards are really challenging and need quite a bit of work. If anything has emphasized that to me, and has been having to use them as much as we have post-Helene, because we didn't, it's not like we did a ton of reviewing projects down there pre-storm, but we have post, and I think they're not terrible, but they definitely need to be updated because they were almost 40 years old. So I think updating design standards where we, for Biltmore Village and possibly Albemarle Park are definitely, I think definitely worthy things to add to the list for sure. I'm trying to pull up our annual report from 2024 just so we can have a sense of where we left off. Hang on, let me navigate to that place.
What were the number of CAs compared to 2024? Did you track that, or pretty much set aside because it went on annual report?
Yeah, we do track that. We have to we track it. We would track it anyway, but we actually have to submit annual report to the SHPO every year, even if we don't have to do an annual report to the city. So we have that data here. Let me look it up real quick. We issued or reviewed 190 major and minor work records in 2025. In 2024, it was 119. And it was way down in 2024 because of Helene.
Mhm.
But we average, I mean, that's 180-ish is pretty much where we average. We average about 35 to 40 or so major work, and then the rest is minor work. But it was definitely 2025 was we had the most permits that we've had in like 4 years. So it's been a busy year, but of course we had a lot of projects for Helene recovery once people were able to, pivot back to actually repairing their buildings, etc. I don't know why I'm on our website and I do not see the annual report. Hang on, let me see if I can pull it out of our files. The one thing I didn't put on the agenda today that would like for all of you to be thinking on is retreat. We're going to try to plan a retreat for later in the year. And I know obviously with Sue and Will cycling off that you might not be with us for the retreat, but obviously still value your insight and thoughts on potential topics that we might cover. I think we for sure will try to build in a session on quasi-judicial proceedings, as well as best practices in applying the design standards. So just throwing that out there as food for thought. If anybody has any.
Came up to the Masonic temple when we met there for a day. Was that a retreat or was that a learning an education event for us?
That was an education event. Well, it was a training and event. It was what it was the National Alliance of Preservation Commissions. They facilitate trainings, and it was one of their camp trainings.
Training.
And we got it sealed. Huh?
I thought that was really good because they had like, okay, this is a window thing, and this is what came up, and this was they had like 3 examples that they walked through a real hearing in Raleigh or Winston-Salem or wherever that was or Old Salem. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was a CLG grant funded event. It was like I think maybe it was like $9,000 total to facilitate that. So not something we'll be able to do anytime soon again.
Right.
But if there are other the reason why we decided to apply for a grant to do that is because I participated in a camp training in Salisbury, I don't know, probably 10 years ago, and I loved it. I thought it was a really great, effective training. But if I see any of those trainings pop up, I'll certainly let you guys know. I haven't heard any whisperings about anything in North Carolina, but if I do, I'll let you know. Our retreat will be a much smaller scale with just our commission members. And I don't know who from this group was able to come to our last retreat at Citizen Vinyl. You were there, Sue, right?
I was there. It was great.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so it'll be something similar to that. We'll try to build in, what we think might be the most prescient sessions to help the commission members, make it a meaningful training for everyone. So stay tuned. Unfortunately, we can't have it as Citizen Vinyl anymore, but because that certainly was part of what was cool about it. But we usually try to find a venue that is historic. So okay, so this is our 2024 annual report. And these were the goals that we had set for 2025. We're still working on the first one. And we got the second bullet point out of the way. Still working on the third bullet point. Usually these stay pretty static, you know, because it takes us so long to implement the goals or get our goals underway in terms of working on them. So we're still working on most of this. I think one thing, and this is maybe for the next 5 years to add here, is to update our preservation master plan because it is now 11 years old somehow. Not quite 11, but close to it. And it was predated, you know, work around supporting documented underrepresented populations and communities, as well as disaster planning around preservation here. And so I think, or hazard mitigation / disaster planning and recovery. And so I think those are things that we probably could bolster within our preservation plan. Do you guys have any thoughts to add to this? You're muted, Will.
How long did it take the preservation master plan to be completed?
I think it was like 2 years, maybe. That predated my time with the city, but I was in graduate school at the time, and so I was kind of on the periphery of it. I can ask Stacy, my predecessor, how long it took, but I'm pretty sure it was like it was adopted in 2015, and then it probably took closer to 2.5 years, I guess, by the time it was adopted. The other thing to note,
updating it wouldn't take that kind of time, right?
I would hope not. I mean, I feel like if you've looked at the plan, it's pretty dense, but the one thing I really like about it is the matrix at the end of it that kind of breaks down the individual goals and strategies into like very digestible pieces. Like I had to present on our preservation master plan at a CLG staff thing forever ago, like 8 or 9 years ago in Raleigh. And I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? Because I haven't really worked for the city long enough to kind of, parse through this entire document to pull out what we've accomplished out of our plan. But because we had that matrix in the back that's basically like a chart, I was able to go through and, pretty easily identify what we accomplished and what we still needed to work on. And at this point, I think it would be useful to go back and say, well, this was a worthy goal. This needs to be tweaked based on X, Y, and Z, because some of our city ordinances have changed and processes have changed since the plan was adopted, that would then ping back to our preservation plan needing to be tweaked a little bit. So I would say a year, maybe. The harder thing for the things, and maybe I'm being ambitious by saying a year. Maybe it would be 1.5 to 2 years. The thing that takes more time on our end is just the contracting. Would have to do a competitive selection process and all of that stuff. And of course, we'd have to find the money. So I think it's just a matter too of us deciding in our long list of priorities, what, where can we direct our resources, both money that and I would say the tricky thing for us that we have to like temper all this with at this point is that the city we are like in a massive budget deficit going into the next fiscal year. So we would certainly have to find grant money to do any of these things. And so I think too, we'd have to like talk through like what would the cost to update our master plan be, and would we be able to find adequate funding for it? Same thing with the updating design standards and the countywide survey. So so you had your hand up and then you put your hand down. Did you?
That was a mistake.
Okay.
So there was a subcontractor who helped work on this. Is all these say Heritage Strategies LLC? Is that sort of how it works?
Yeah. So actually, our preservation master plan was not funded by the city. It was funded by CLG grant and private funds that were raised for the match. And those monies were used to hire heritage strategies. And I imagine they did I don't know for sure, because normally no, I'm sure they must have had to do it this way because they were using CLG money. They had to do a competitive selection process. And the way that works is we submit or send out a request for proposals for whatever the project scope is. And then we accept proposals within, like a month's time. And like for the last competitive one we did, for example, was for the Burton Street Architectural Survey. And I want to say we got like 4 submittals. And so then we had a selection team that met with very specific criteria to score the proposals. And then we contracted with the consultant, which is, I'm sure what happened is how they chose heritage strategies. So. I think what I'll do for next time is I will like try to update this work plan goals and incorporate them into our kind of running agenda stuff so that we can, add notes to these topics as they arise, like, notes on priorities and or challenges, etc. If that's helpful, since we didn't do an annual report this year. Just maybe give us a way to kind of keep track of what we're still trying to get done. But if anybody has any, if there's even if there's small things that you all think are worthy to add to the work plan or goals, by all means, like, please just feel free to share. Y'all are all awkwardly silent. Does that mean everybody's ready to go and do whatever else you've got going on today? So that's all I had for our agenda today.
Well, thanks. I think that's yeah, let me know what you find out when you talk to Shippo. And I'm happy to volunteer for 4B on your agenda.
Okay, thank you so much. I will definitely circle back and see what what our outlook is once I've talked with them on getting some of this nailed down. So appreciate everybody's time today. And
Alex, sorry, just one quick question. Was there anything that we should do about the email from Rob Mays?
I think just take some time to digest it. It was a lot of information. I haven't read through all of it yet myself. And then, partly why we wanted to do the work session in later in April to share back. Well, one is to share back on the survey results with you all, but then also give an opportunity for all or any or all commissioners who have thoughts and questions that want to weigh in. The survey question about fences, just FYI to you all, like I said earlier in our meeting, is simply asking the question, like, do you support fences in front yards more generally? We did not, as obviously as you guys know, we didn't really get into any other substantive changes to the design standards. And so I think that's just something that the commission is going to have to consider as a group. And I feel like perhaps the best forum for that is, we can talk about it today if you all had a chance to digest all that information. Alternatively, we can talk about it the next month, or we can, just let you guys think about it and, share your thoughts with the rest of the commissioners when we do the work session in April. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I haven't looked through it all yet, so
No,
I don't have anything to say.
Same, I haven't had time.
I have a similar question. Is the Montford survey, is that countywide or is that specific to the Montford neighborhood?
We're targeting targeting the Montford neighborhood. Because we really want, I mean, those are the stakeholders, right? It's the property owners there. So unless you guys think it should go out more broadly, I mean, I think it might be more confusing, you know, with just the data might get a little bit wacky, but
Understanding of, yeah.
we just as an FYI, like the first question is, do you live within the historic district overlay? And because even that is confusing to people because it doesn't capture all of Montford Hills and et cetera, and Stumptown, we embedded a GIS map in the question. So you can, if you're not sure where your property is located, you can click on that link and then put your address in, and it'll show you whether or not you're within the boundary or not. So we're trying to make it very specific to Montford to the extent we can.
Great.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you again for your time, and I'll try to get the agenda for next time around together a little bit earlier. So if anybody has questions or wants to add anything to it, you have time to look at it more than a day before the meeting. So thanks for your patience as we get through. Got a million plates in the air over here. So appreciate y'all chiming in this morning.
Thanks all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Thanks.
Bye.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
All right.
Bye.